meeting of October 18th, 2022. I do believe Dr. Videra will be joining us remotely shortly, and Mr. Lawrence was unable to join us for the meeting. He was having technical difficulties from where he was participating remotely. So can I have our school board rep from Calabasas High School, Justin Pistotnik, lead us in the flag salute.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you very much. We have nothing to report out of closed session. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Student?
Aye.
Board?
Aye.
Motion to approve the minutes of the September 13th, 2022 meeting.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Excellent. I appreciate participation.
All those in favor? Student?
Aye.
Board?
Aye.
And then, thank you so much for being patient with your, waiting for us to start our meeting. I realize we're starting with a delay, so out of appreciation, we're going to jump to recognitions and then go back to staff board communication.
Yep, with a room full of amazing, wonderful people, we just want to share one message, and that is vote. We have an election coming up. All elections matter. Use your voice. Use your agency. Please vote on November 8th. Ballots are out there right now. LAvote.gov. If you have questions, we'll have polling locations inside the district. I believe Agora High School is the only school facility being used, but there'll be a number of other city locations around. So please use your vote and take care of that. And I think we have 2 employee recognitions. So, Madam President, if I'll meet you at the podium, and Dr. Seifers will kick it off.
All right, Bay Laurel, let's hear it. White Oak Lions, let's hear it. Boom. Love it. Awesome crew tonight. Thank you so much for joining us and recognizing these 2 fabulous employees. Madam President, members of the board, each month we use our core dispositions in the district to evaluate our employees of the month. And those things consist of perseverance, building collaborative communities at your school sites, understanding and empathy, and working with our students. And these 2 individuals that we have the opportunity to meet tonight epitomize all of those, and they have a few things in common. When I had the chance to look at their applications, one of them, they both bring joy to the jobs that they do at their site. So all of their colleagues here shared that they do their job with passion, but they make others around them enjoy the position. They both create a very comfortable educational environment for students was another common thread. And most importantly, you were both identified by both staffs as team players, people that are always willing to go above and beyond for kids and your colleagues. So thank you both very much on behalf of the board and the district. We also, though, want to hear more about you from your fabulous principals. So to introduce our classified employee of the month, we'll bring up Ms. Nicole Smith from White Oak.
Come on down, Miss Victoria. Okay, it is such an honor that we get to honor you as Classified Employee of the Month. As soon as it was announced that the district and the board was able to do this awesome tradition, the nominations started pouring in for you, and justly so. So some of the things that were said is, Victoria exemplifies our roar characteristics, because we're lions and we roar, that you bring a breath of fresh air every single day, that you're always positive and kind, and that positivity and kindness is contagious, and you just spread that joy throughout the campus everywhere you walk. That you're always go the extra mile, and those things that you do for our students, we notice. So those making those rewards for them and making different classroom spaces, those are the things that everybody has noticed, and you just have set the bar of awesomeness and kindness, and it is a pleasure that we get to be able to honor you in this way. So I'm so glad to acknowledge all of your awesomeness. Congratulations.
Victoria, on behalf of the board, we want to thank you so much. It's so special what you do for our students and how you help out on the campus, and that you are such a team player. White Oak is always very near and dear to my heart, and I couldn't be more honored to be presenting this to you from the district.
First of all, it's hard for me because my daughter actually went to Bay Laurel, and she's 36, so I love Bay Laurel just as much as I love White Oak. But I can honestly say this was just starting off to be a fun job for me, like 1 or 2 days a week. This is the most fun I've ever had at any job, and every day I get so excited. You can ask my husband, he's here tonight. I get so excited to come and see all the kids and all the teachers and all the staff, and I feel like I get a gift every single day. I feel like I win the lottery every day. And I could go on. I could go on for like 6 hours about all of these people that came with me because, man, they have taught me so much, and they've been very patient with me and kind, because every day I learn something new. Right, Miss Vilianco? You know that. And every day I learn something new, and they're just so gentle and patient with me, and it's just impossible not to love the kids. My favorite part of the day is when we go to the carpool and I see all those bright, sunshiny faces. We tell them to walk, not run, but something about running is kind of cool because they really want to go to school. So that makes me really happy. And actually, I do have a little story about Dr. Dan. Oh. If I can share a story about you.
Yeah.
I need to talk about
Oh,
Dr.
do
Dan.
share. Let's hear it.
I have to talk about Dr. Dan because I love academics. Academics are so important, but actually character is also just as important, integrity. I did end up at a school called Mariposa, which is a very, very special school called it's a Waldorf Method school. And 2 of his kids went to school there. And I got this beautiful little girl, because I work in special ed, and she had some disorder I had never even heard of. And at the time, Dr. Paul was there, and he kept giving me the information because I was so nervous because I saw this beautiful girl in front of me, and I really wanted to make a big difference in her life. So at the time, Kirsten, his daughter, was at Mariposa, and she did something very lovely. She actually came with all of her friends because we wanted to make this girl feel welcome. And every Friday, we had a party with cupcakes and refreshments and games, and it was all because of Kirsten. So I want to thank you for that because you know what? You really walk the walk because you're such an amazing father, and I really appreciate you, not just an amazing educator and obviously all the things you do. And so I just wanted to say that. I do want to say every day, I just want to tell you guys, I just cannot even imagine how I found all these beautiful people that I work with. They make me so happy every day.
Oh.
Oh, well, my husband's here. And I did want to say something about my husband, if that's okay with you. Okay, he's my best friend. We've been married almost 40 years. And we moved here just because of the school district, because we knew it was like a top rate. And I was even telling some of my colleagues that there's people that have moved from other states just to be in our school system because it's so phenomenal. And especially our special ed team is amazing. Anyway, about 19 years ago, he's done wrestling his whole life. He does commercial real estate, but he's been a wrestler. And one of our friends that grew up with my daughter invited him to come and be a volunteer. And so he's been a volunteer for 19 years. And so I want to publicly acknowledge Angie and Andy, and I'm sorry that Andy's not here, because they have made him feel so welcome. And it's just been such a blessing between me working at the school and him being the volunteer. It's made such a big difference in our lives, and I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
So, I think that's all I want to say, but just thank you for everything. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. It means so much to me.
All right, and Dr. Duncan, I think last month we were honoring you, but now we're going to invite you up here to honor our certificated Employee of the Month.
Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Step, and cabinet, it is my extreme honor to introduce you to our co-teacher in charge, 5th grade level lead, wonderful, kind-hearted, caring, self-proclaimed lucky teacher of Bay Laurel, and an overall lovely and beautifully spirited human, Mrs. Julie Atkinson, as your certificated Employee of the Month. Now, Julie is the teacher who, at the beginning of the school year, makes a phone call home to all parents to make a positive connection with them, so that if there are challenging phone calls or conversations later on in the school year, that she's already established that good rapport. Julie is somebody who cares deeply about social emotional learning, and she jumped right in to our ruler social emotional learning approach from Yale when the district first introduced it to our staff. She uses the curriculum to teach her students to explore their emotions, to learn them, to label them, to recognize them, to express them. She not only uses it to check in on her students, but she ties it to her curriculum. I've seen so many of her lessons in which they're reading a novel and they're talking about the characters and their feelings and how to help a character move from one quadrant of emotion to the next. If you know about the program, you know what I'm talking about. And Julie is an advocate for restorative justice and restorative learning communities, and I've seen her take that in action in her classroom over and over again, teaching her students how to facilitate their own problem solving and being collaborative learners. Julie, you're somebody who cares so deeply about everybody who surrounds you, and you shine so brightly, and your joy radiates and your love radiates to all of us at Bay Laurel, and I'm sure everywhere else. And you are somebody that your colleagues describe as always very positive. You are everyone's cheerleader, is what your colleagues have shared. And actually, I'm using the wrong terminology because your colleagues think you're a great friend, above all things. And last but not least, this might be an inside joke, but Julie, I just want you to know, as your principal, that you can have as many happy faces and as many pinwheels in your classroom as you would like, whenever you like, and I would absolutely support it. Congratulations, Julie.
Thank you. Of course, so sorry.
Ms. Atkins, on behalf of the board, we just want to say how much we appreciate what you do. Most of the board goes around and visits all the campuses, and I've been in your classroom several different times, and I'm always impressed with the control that you have of the classroom and the joy that I see on the children's faces when I come in there, and that's a sign of a terrific teacher, and we couldn't be more proud that you are on our faculty. Congratulations.
And I hear it's a Macintosh, my favorite. If you know what I mean, if you're from back east, you eat them. Okay, can't find them here too much, but anyway. Okay, Dr. Stepanowski, board members, and Dr. Duncan, I want to thank you for this big surprise. I would like to share this, though, with the entire village. My husband, Jeff, makes me the necessary latte every morning to make my day.
I like that.
My daughters have helped with ideas and for setting up classrooms in the summer for the start of the new year. My really dear friend talks to me every day on my way to work, and I couldn't have done it without her. Oh, Bay Laurel. Bay Laurel, Dr. Cyphers, I think you would agree, since you led the team years ago. Bay Laurel is very social. Bay Laurel sometimes gets very emotional. And we are always learning from each other every day, every single day. I love you all. You know that. Well, this is all for everyone. we also love our parents because they really help and support the kids and us. They offer insights about the kids that we may have not known, and so that's very special. But no matter what, the prize is always the children, always the children. Now, can you think of each child as an egg? And I have almost 3 dozen in 5th grade. Categorized as such: hard-boiled, soft-boiled, scrambled, over easy, over hard, the omelet. And thanks to Dr. Duncan, we have many sunny-side-up eggs. For me, the salt and pepper added is the social-emotional learning piece. I'd like to highlight 3, I'm going to call it SEL, practices that we use nearly every day. 10 years ago, I learned during my trimester, also at Mariposa, that it's okay to take a pause from lesson plans and attend to the upset that kids might have experienced during recess or lunch. So we incorporate community circles where a topic is presented and each child shares an experience or offers suggestions on the topic. Like, what if someone is alone or appears left out? Well, my year in the virtual academy required small breakout rooms to ensure that everyone was heard. No matter what the setting, feelings are validated, children teach, we are just facilitators. In addition, restorative dialogues provide specific language for children to reconcile. A student who has been offended faces the offender and states how the offense made him or her feel. When I taught 2nd grade, we usually heard sad, bad, mad. But the 5th graders now look at the mood meter and they choose from a list of 100 emotion words. As the offender says, "You don't deserve that," and a pause, they then ask, "How can I make it right? How can I make it better?" Basically, how can they reconcile? And that's the power play. You should see the faces of the children on both ends. All of a sudden, the person who is offended is in control. It's a beautiful thing. I've observed these dialogues and have actually decided that it has lessened tattling. Kids just don't tattle on each other anymore. In fact, they ask if they can have a dialogue, and sometimes in front of the class, so everyone's learning. SEL is also part of all of our core subjects, as Jackie had mentioned. We use the mood meter that categorizes emotions. We read a book, make a claim about a character's feeling, and find evidence by finding the emotion words. And sometimes the body language tell. How might the character's emotions cause events to unfold? What do you predict? When we write stories, we include inner thoughts and feelings. So listen what we just did. Let's write a story about being alone in the wilderness. But first you ask, did you ever get lost? How did it feel? All hands were up, entire class. The most frequent place for getting lost in a 5th grader's memory is Target. And anxiety, well, it's real. It's either technically diagnosed or maybe it's just fleeting. We all get it at times. We offer activities that may help an anxious student and all students. Brain breaks, breathing, movement breaks, mastery-based grading for second chances. Can you all remember a time that you wish you had a second chance to redo a test? And did you know that using watercolors simulates the dream state? People are relaxed. Well, there's so much more I can say, and Dr. Cyphers knows that. But the egg timer has gone off. I'm a very, very grateful LVUSD teacher. It is the second best decision of my life besides marrying my husband. And if you are wondering about my favorite egg, I like my class to be a warm, tender, slow and steady cooked frittata.
One more time for Vicki and Julie. But with this many wonderful people in the room, I do also want to recognize some folks we're going to introduce in a minute, and that is Sergeant Velick and your team. Would you stand up? This is the Juvenile Detective Team. They're going to be introduced to the board in a minute, but let's give them a round of applause. We appreciate them looking out for us and taking care of us. And I think someone might get to get on the car in a few minutes and get them to turn their siren on. All right, Julie, Vicki, the school board, come on down. Principals, let's get a picture right here. Of course, you're welcome to stay, but you may have celebrations or gatherings you want to attend to, so have a wonderful evening. Congratulations, Julie and Vicki, one more time. You guys are awesome. We got you a little love in front of everybody, though.
Yeah.
You know, after all
Madam President, members of the board, the next up recognition, I'm thrilled to introduce the Juvenile Detective Team. They stand behind me. We so appreciate these women and men and their dedication to public service, particularly school safety, the safety of our students, our staff. A room was full of staff just a moment ago. And our schools, they're a wonderful team. Loved working with Sergeant Velick in the short amount of time. He brings a tremendous amount of experience with us. We thank Captain C2. Obviously, she's a wonderful leader for our region and represents LA Sheriff's Department with integrity, character, and dignity. And she is dedicated to school safety, as evidenced by more than doubling the size of the J team in a short amount of time and bringing in a sergeant to lead them. So we're thrilled to have them. Just wanted a chance for the sergeant to introduce himself and his team and maybe have a few words.
Thank you. Thanks you for having us tonight. I'm Sergeant Bill Velick with the Los Hills Sheriff Station. I'll try and be a little louder.
It's for the camera.
So, like Dr. Dan said, Captain C2 assigned me to be the school safety liaison sergeant and gave me the J team. As soon as we started, I said, I need one more, and she went, okay. So the team is Deputy Curiel. She's been on the team for a couple years, so people already know her. Everybody's already met her. We also have called the Lees, Deputy Lee and Deputy Lee.
okay.
No relation, but that's who we have on the team. And we've been going around to all the campuses. We've made it to all the LV campuses and done our security walkthroughs, talked to the staff, met the admin teams, and then continue to have them reach out to us. And it's been great. They've been reaching out with all kinds of questions, how to handle some stuff. And we're helping how we can. And we're there to help out in any fashion, whether it's drugs on campus. They were actually doing some drug presentations earlier today at some of the private schools. And we've been talking to all of the principals and assistant principals about, you know, the drug things on campus, what we're looking at with kids and what their uses are, how we can help reduce that. And a big part is the school safety, lockdown procedures and all that, and anything else that comes up. So I think that's about it, unless you guys have any questions on what you want to
No, we just thank you for your partnership.
thank you so
And
much.
we always have a great partnership with Lost Hills Sheriff Station, and we appreciate Captain C2 and all of you. So thank you for what you do for our kids.
Absolutely. Thank you for helping to keep everybody safe in the entire community and all of our children. So thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. And with that, we'll move back to staff board communication. We'll start off with Justin.
Madam President, members of the board, over at Agora in high school, we've had a very eventful past few weeks. At Agora, on September 28th, the ASB board representative hosted the annual voter registration drive where over 200 students and parents registered or pre-registered to vote. On October 6th, Agora High School partnered with UCLA Health to hold a blood drive in the gym where students and members of the community donated blood. Also at Agora, they had their excellent homecoming last week with a Halloween-themed pep rally and spirit week. The homecoming dance was filled with Hallows Eve fun. Next week, Agora will start its week-long fundraiser, Pennies for Patients, to raise money for charity for children with leukemia. Over at Calabasas, from the 15th to the 15th of this month, we honored Hispanic Heritage Month with a Hispanic Heritage Literature Wing in the library, as well as salsa dancers to show the vibrance and beauty of Latin culture in America. One of these dancers also gave a speech about the importance of her Hispanic heritage within her education. Seniors on Wednesday celebrated our annual Senior Spaghetti Night with much fanfare. Last Friday, we had our Kevin Cardasco game in which we were glad to continue to honor Kevin Cardasco and his legacy. This Friday is our last home game, which will be in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. ASB will be selling luminaries to raise money for breast cancer research as well. Lastly, Calabasas was able to unveil our new mascot, which was welcomed by all the students. We can't wait for what the next weeks hold, and we'll be sure to keep you updated.
Thank you so much. Ms. Cupbill.
Thank you. I won't go over 5 weeks worth of stuff, but one of the great things I got to do yesterday was read to a kindergarten class at YB, and honestly, there's really nothing more fun. Look at them; they're listening to me. Unlike my kids, they were great. They asked great questions about the story, and there's some more. I know a lot of people from the district are participating in their readathon week, and a lot of the schools do this, and it's always great. And today I was asked to be the guest speaker to graduate students at the Davenport Institute of the School of Public Policy at Pepperdine. And they do a lunchtime series, and it was an hour spending time with grad students and talking about education policy in our district, and always makes me proud to share a lot of the things we're doing. A lot of them are interested in going into education policy or into the education field, and it was a great time. So that's it for me.
Ms. Stein.
Thank you very much. A couple of highlights was, since the last few weeks, is we did have our Lupin Hill 50th celebration, and that was wonderful. Mrs. Mangus did a great celebratory speech, and we had principals and teachers from a long time ago with 50 years of history. So it was wonderful to see so many alumni and former employees come out to celebrate. Linda Northrup, who was a council member in the city of Agora Hills, stepped down. She moved out of the area, and Mrs. Mangus and I went and shared our appreciation to her recognition at the city. We had International Walk to School, which is always fun to see the parents and the students. I happened to be at Willow, and so much fun. There's lots of little ones and strollers, so yay, go LVUSD, more enrollment, and lots of dogs. It was so much fun, a real community event. So that's the highlight of the last few weeks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lawrence, I see that you have joined us. Do you have any comments?
I just wanted to echo what I think Ms. Cupbill said. So a lot have happened the last 5 weeks. I really just want to thank everyone in our community who's working so hard.
Mr. Lawrence, we actually can't hear you.
It's just such an incredibly important moment for our district. and our
Mr. Lawrence?
community.
You can hear him? Oh, we can't hear me? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. As I said earlier, I'm pleased that he's joined us, but he was not going to join us because he was having technical connection difficulties. So, and I don't know if Dr. Videra has anything that she wants to share with us.
Can you not hear me?
You're better now.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
No.
No. No. Okay.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You're, okay.
Yeah.
So I also want to echo that it was a lot of fun celebrating Lupin Hill's 50th birthday, and it's so nice to be a part of upbeat celebrations and a pretty much normal start to the school year. Ms. Cutbill and I sit on, it's called City Schools Committee, and that we meet with the cities of Westlake Village and Agora Hills and the principals of those schools in those cities, as well as the J team and the city council members, the representatives from those cities, and it's really nice for everybody just to kind of touch base with each other and see how we can support each other and to be aware of each other's comings and goings, and it was a lot of fun to take part in the walk to school, and also march in the Reyes Adobe Days parade was a lot of fun. And I also attended the night at the Adobe, and it's nice to be able to connect again with the community after so many years of being socially distant. So thank you very much. Dr. Sepp.
Hit it, Jim. Madam President, members of the board, a couple of things. Chaparral started the week off right with Red Ribbon Week. They brought in leaders and student athletes from Calabasas High School, many of them former students of Principal Goldstein, to share messages with students. And Ms. Goldstein set a participation target of 85% of her students, and they, I think, crushed it. I think they hit 100%. And so she took 7 pies to the face administered by the high schoolers. The high schoolers were a little shocked at first. They thought they were getting the pies in the face in front of 500 Chaparral students, but they got to administer them. Nikki had goggles on with great sport, and it was the power of moments. Students, smiles, laughing, a lot of fun. Next. Walk to schools. I think the board members mentioned that. There's board president Mangus there with council members Halpern and Pearl at White Oak Elementary with principal Nicole Smith. Was a blast. Being around the students, walking to school, lot of fun, great sense of community spirit. Next one. Also, Race Adobe Parade, I think that was mentioned as well. On the left-hand side there, the Willow Wildcats going down the street. Amazing with Principal Reynolds there. And on the right-hand side, the brand-new mascot for Yerba Buena, the Bobcat, who is quite a spectacle. I mean, he's spectacular. Next slide. I'll tell you later, Ms. Stein. Coffee. We've had coffee carts around our schools. The bottom right corner is from yesterday at White Oak. I can't keep track. Today was Round Meadow. Yesterday was White Oak, and last Friday was Agora High School. Was a blast. What I've realized is, and the board come out for this frequently, it's actually a chance to catch up with the staff. Like when you visit classrooms, you can't talk.
Yeah.
You can't chit chat. You can't check up on them and their families. And so I just think this is just such a cool way to connect for 2 minutes or 5 minutes, because we don't want to interrupt instruction. We don't want to take time away from the kids. Everyone's focused on the mission. But this is just so much fun, lots of smiles, and quite a joy.
I was just going to say, I've just learned and had great interactions with staff. I mean, I just like going, not just for the coffee and the ice cream, but to talk to them while they're waiting and just to tell them how much we appreciate them. And they're happy, they're in a good mood, and it's just great for them to share what's going on in their classroom and in their school in a more relaxed setting. So I appreciate you doing this.
I do too. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. The staff seems to love it. I've gotten feedback after, before, during. They're just wonderful, and I equate it to, working in an office where somebody might bring donuts in. It's hard with 14, 15 schools and the staffs, but this is really just such a lovely treat.
It's a little thing, but it says, I see you. And I think that's important, that we see them, we recognize them, not just at the end of the year, but on a day-to-day basis.
We've got Willow tomorrow at 9:30, Sumac and Mariposa on Thursday. So the staff love to see board members out there as well. I know Ms. Cuppel and Ms. Stein go to see the staff. Dr. Seifried candidly goes for the ice cream, but also at Calabasas, we had our alumni at the Something Yellow game. I'll talk about that in a moment. But our alumni, Ari Sandell, was instrumental in redoing the weight room for Calabasas, along with alum Tommy Kim. I believe they're both from the class of 1993. They got us a brand new mascot for Calabasas. Everyone was super stoked. We brought him out under wraps and unwrapped him, unveiled him or her in front of the student section. They went nuts. So here's a picture of the new coyote. I think they did a great job. He looks cool but fun too, not too scary or anything like that. And student section loved it. So we appreciate our alum coming back and connecting and donating to the school.
That's a great photo.
And next one, photo from Something Yellow. I think one of the board members mentioned that. Student board member mentioned that. Beautiful ceremony. I've known the Cardasco family for quite some time. They're an inspiration. I was at Kevin's culmination from AC Stell, was at his funeral as well. The family's amazing. We had special gear for the football team that had Kevin's sayings on it, which was courage, strength, believe. So they had wristbands, arm sleeves, headbands that had that on it, and Kevin and Melody were very touched. And they just loved to come back and connect. And they came, Kevin Cardasco came and spoke to the football team Tuesday before the game, and so many players came up throughout the week to talk to the coaches about it. Unfortunately, many families have been impacted by cancer. This is Something Yellow, focusing on child cancer awareness. During the ceremony, the team came out as we finished this piece up shortly after I took this photo, and they took a knee on the sideline out of respect for the Cardasco family, and many players came up and hugged Kevin and Melody afterwards. And we'll go to the next slide before I get too emotional. Team knows I don't really do emotions. Just in time, Dr. Gleason to save the day.
Madam President, members of the board, this is what's cooking in child nutrition. So we have shared, Mrs. Abbott and the team have been working hard to really revitalize our menus, to have real focus on color and diversity and getting students' input. And just want to share with you, in the last 6 weeks, we have had over approximately 500 additional meals claimed by students each day. So when you compare August to October data. So the students are responding with coming into child nutrition in large ways. And we continue to have opportunities like acai bowl tastings and surveys to continue to diversify the menu for our kids.
Dr. Gleason, that is so wonderful. As the district does their newsletter and individual school sites that are seeing these types of menu items, can we encourage the school sites, the district, to keep pushing this out with photos, for the ones that are receiving? I know that it's, you're rolling it out, so it's a process, but it's really exciting to see the new options.
Absolutely. I think Dr. Finneran has and Mrs. Johnson are putting a what's cooking section in that in the newsletter, as well as site administrators. We've asked them to also push out. So thanks.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Dr. Finneran.
Thank you. Madam President, members of the board, happy to share with you an update that Curriculum Council heard a couple of weeks ago, 10 days or so ago, regarding 2 curriculum pilots that are going on right now. I know you'll get a UTK update as the evening progresses and in the coming weeks as well. But we are doing a transitional kindergarten pilot of 2 sets of materials. One is called, and I'm going to lose it, Creative Curriculum, and the other one is 3 Cheers for PK. And excited to bring back to you the results of that pilot. We're also doing a world languages pilot, Spanish to be specific, and that's occurring at both high schools. So thank you for that.
Mr. Klein.
Madam President, members of the board, this week is Digital Citizenship Week, actually. If you recall from the past, Digital Citizenship Week was typically closer to the spring, which was not exactly an ideal time for Digital Citizenship Week. But this has been moved up. They've actually synced it up with Bullying Prevention Month. So we did have some great activities for this month for bullying prevention, and digital citizenship flows right into that really nicely. For this week, what we put together is a list of great resources for all of our teachers at varying grade levels. This is what the Citizenship Week flyer looks like. It's a little small, I apologize. But at the top there, it has calendars for both elementary, middle, and high school, or all three of those, as well as a bunch of resources for our libraries. We have scavenger hunts with QR codes, etc. And if you look at those calendars for each of the grade levels, I usually show you elementary stuff. I decided I'd show you high school stuff this time. This is our high school calendar for activities for every single day. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday covered with such topics as screen time, who are you on social media, why are conspiracy theories so popular, things like that, the kinds of topics that our kids really need to learn in this crazy digital age of too much information. So lots of great resources for our teachers as well. This has a 15-minute activity for the students, then it has a lesson for the teachers as well with a lesson plan, and finally it actually has some content to share with parents. Most of these resources were pulled together from Common Sense Media, which is a great partner of ours. We've been working with them for a long time on this stuff, and these have been very well received by all of our constituents, our students, staff, and parents. So we're thrilled that that's going positively, and we look forward to some positive results of this effort.
Ms. Falk.
Madam President, members of the board, this week we completed our 2-day training of applied behavior analysis, which we do twice a year to all newly hired special education classified and certificated employees. We hold one in the fall and one in the spring. And in addition to our own employees, we open it up to surrounding districts who come and pay for their employees to participate in our training. And this year, for the first time, as a result of Ms. Louthian, myself, and Brandy Rosen presenting in Yakima, Washington, we actually had 4 people from that presentation fly down to participate in our ABA training. We did good, Val.
That's great.
Ms. Davenport.
Good evening, Madam President and members of the board. Excited to have in front of you tonight the 2023 Outdoor Education Experience for all our 5th graders up for your consent. Our students are certainly in for a life-changing adventure. 4 nights, 5 days. That's going to give them great memories for a lifetime. Our program provider this year is Wolf, Wilderness Outdoor Leadership Foundation. They have a track record of delivering wonderful experiences at Camp Gilmore, which is run by the Salvation Army, just a few miles down Las Virgenes Road between Tapia and Malibu Creek State Park. And you can see in these photos, our kids are going to have a great time, hiking, climbing, swimming, building, time to wander, time to wonder, smiling, laughing, cheering for each other all along the way. Wolf has a really strong hands-on science focus and really knows how to make learning fun and safe. So the cost this year, I'm happy to say, is only slightly higher than the cost of the last outdoor ed experience that we were able to offer our students that included the week-long overnight stay, which is really impressive considering the cost of everything has risen. So I want to thank the board tonight for their kind consideration and their commitment to providing an outdoor education experience for the 5th grade students of Las Virgenes. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Ms. Davenport, will the high school students have an opportunity to be counselors?
Yes, we are going to roll out that opportunity for our high school students, and they'll also be able to get their seal of civic engagement through this process, so we're excited to bring the high school counselors aboard with us.
Fantastic. And just, as you know, we have some new members of our high school admin teams who have never been through this before, so thank you for helping them. And if you'll keep us posted and send us the list of dates that schools are going to be there, because board members have a history of going out and visiting.
Great,
Thank you.
absolutely, we'd love that.
Thank you.
Ms. Chambers.
Madam President, members of the board, I'd like to share an update regarding new employee training. Each month, Dr. Cypress and I will be hosting a training to onboard our new employees by providing them with information on our district goals, expectations, and then tips for success. This will be followed by a job classification specific training by leaders in our various departments. It's part of an ongoing initiative to help with the support and retention of our new staff. On the screen, you'll see a couple of photos from our most recent training. with a small group breakout activity that we did last month.
Dr. Cypress.
Madam President, members of the board, we are so thrilled this year to be able to offer professional development hours for our administrative team, and we've done so in the form of a 19.5-hour human resource series, specifically designed to train and support our admin with everything and all the good stuff from the world of human resources. Did you laugh at that over there? The one upcoming in early November, we're working on cognitive coaching with our team, and then in later November, we're actually doing a day-long session on building a positive culture and climate at your school site. So thrilled to be able to offer this opportunity to support our admin so that they can best support our staff and our students.
That concludes staff communication.
Thank you very much. Moving on to approval of consent A. Before we have a motion, I want to say that we're going to pull item number 6 from consent A agenda to provide the facilities department with time to respond to bid inquiries. The project will be moved to the summer of 2023, and the item number 6 is approval of award of bid Omega Construction Hallway Corridor at Lupin Hill Elementary.
I move we approve consent A, items 1 through 5 and 7 through 18.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Student?
Aye.
Board?
Aye.
Aye.
Moving on to consent B, motion to approve consent B.
I'll move to approve consent B.
I'll second it.
This is board vote only. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And a nod from Kate.
And then moving on to action items, approval of provisional internship permit credential for mild to moderate support needs.
Famous pips and stips, Dr. Cypress.
Madam President, members of the board, staff is seeking approval of a provisional internship permit credential to fill a mild moderate support needs position. The candidate has her bachelor's degree and as well as her MBA from DeVry University. Staff is recommending approval so she can best serve our students at Calabasas High School.
Seems straightforward to me. Do you have a question?
Does this person have to be enrolled in receiving a teaching credential, or because they have a master's, they don't have to be enrolled in getting it?
She is enrolled in a program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I move we approve the provisional internship permit credential for mild moderate support needs at Calabasas High School.
And I will second that.
All those in favor? Student?
Aye.
Board?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And then moving on to information items, update early childhood education certificate program.
Madam President, members of the board, very excited with the developments in the leadership Las Virgenes, and Dr. Gleason and staff have shown in the early childhood education program. We've got an information update for the board tonight. Dr. Gleason.
Madam President, members of the board, as Dr. Stepp shared, we have, the board had requested in a prior board meeting to bring forward an overview of our program, given that we were just awarded a little over $2 million to be a beacon of teacher preparation for early childhood education. Excited to have tonight so many familiar faces. So Miss Jessica Marshall, who is assistant principal at Lindero, but is also an early childhood expert in her former life. We have Dr. Shane Craven, who is the principal of Aspen Elementary from Conejo, and as evidence in the partnership that we have across all of our districts, is an amazing faculty in our program. And then we have Miss Lisa Villianco, who was Owen Gleason's TK teacher, and I venture to guess his, I shouldn't say guess, his favorite teachers thus far. He's now in 5th grade, so excited to have them all here. They are all have day jobs, and then by night they transform into preparing the workforce across the state of California for early childhood education. And of course, this is Miss Louthian's baby, so we're going to turn it over to Miss Valerie Louthian.
Thank you. Madam President, members of the board, cabinet, so excited to be back here again and with some of my friends from the program to share with you some updates from our program.
So as you know, we started the ECE certificate program in June, and we started really with 2 full cohorts in June, with an additional 2 extra cohorts in August. So now we actually have 50 candidates currently enrolled across 4 cohorts from across 17 different districts. And you can see the different districts that we have partnered with. Some of the values of our program is really ensuring that as we are preparing the workforce for universal transitional kindergarten, that we are really focused on a play-based pedagogy as well as just best practices in early childhood. I think prior to this UTK initiative, transitional kindergarten was really focused on providing an additional year prior to kindergarten. But as we roll it out, we will have students that are turning 4 starting in our schools. So it's going to be a huge shift, not only for our staff, but also for our curriculum instruction across everything that affects the students. So we're really focused again too on ensuring that our participants have an understanding of what best practices are based on research, especially related to social emotional learning, developing relationships with students. On the more technical side, we are focusing on some data-informed assessments as it pertains to early childhood, really focusing on desired results developmental profile, which is something that we've done historically in our preschool settings as well. We're really looking at, and Ms. Marshall will talk about, her class, which focuses on developmentally appropriate literacy and really how we introduce the love of reading at this early age and what that looks like in our classroom settings. We do have a class focusing on classroom management for the young child because it looks a lot different for a 3 and 4-year-old than it does for a 3rd grader. And across our courses, which we'll talk about, just joy and happiness in learning and teaching, because these little guys are, this is their first time in schools, and we want to make sure that it's a positive experience. So this is a course overview of the courses that our program offers, and starting with Foundations, which is the class that I teach with Ms. Laura Kintz. We talk a lot about curriculum and assessment with Dr. Dunn coming back on and teaching for 301. And then, like I mentioned, we have Dr. Shane Craven. He'll talk about his experience regarding working with students in special ed. And then looking at positive behavioral class management supports, and then focusing on literacy and language development, and then ending the sequence with a focus on culture, diversity, and equity in early childhood education. And I think all of these key topics are really important in rolling out a coherent UTK program across the districts that we are working with. So here is our amazing faculty, and as I mentioned, we have partnerships with a lot of different districts, previous LVUSD employees who have come back to teach for us. Miss Laura, who moved to Oregon, and still we co-teach our class together. Miss Cypress, she is amazing and did a lot of parent classes, and she's leading the work in our positive behavior class. We have a faculty member, Kathy, who is from Glendale Unified and jumped right on board to support with Dr. Rose Dunn in talking about curriculum and assessment. We have Miss Amy Mills and Bonnie from Conejo as well, and then I'll let our faculty members speak on their behalf as well. So I'm going to call up Dr. Shane Craven, who will share his experience.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to share my experience as an instructor in the Center edX ECE certificate program. As was shared many times, my name is Shane Craven, and I really have the pleasure of teaching EDX 302, which specifically focuses on supporting students with diverse needs. The students in this course, really the goal is for them to develop a rich understanding of special education policies and procedures, universal design for learning, inclusive practices, differentiated instruction, and then be able to apply course content to real-world situations in their classrooms. That's the biggest key, is being able to take it from just the coursework, but apply it to the students that are coming through the door every day. Students in this course have also shared that the coursework and content is extremely informative and applicable to the work that they do each day. Additionally, the course empowers students to meaningfully engage with stakeholders and service providers on their own campuses to develop a culture of collaboration centered around supporting needs of students that walk through the door, no matter what. A lot of times in TK, you're getting students that was shared it's their first school experience, and they may not have been identified, and they may have needs that the parents may not be aware of. So really being able to provide that support and that understanding across the board to support them and meet their needs. As an elementary school principal, teaching this course has been instrumental in my own growth as a leader to better understand how to effectively build capacity among teachers, specifically in the area of supporting students with diverse needs. Each week, the high level of engagement and discussion with students reinforces the importance of designing supports with intentionality and developing inclusive classrooms that are authentically meeting the needs of the students that walk through the door. I want to thank this district for the opportunity to do this, and I look forward to continue to work with cohorts of students in the coming months, as it's clear that this course is making a direct impact on their work as educators on a day-to-day basis. Thank you.
It's wonderful that we have teachers from all different districts and all different levels, so that you can bring your own rich experiences to this, and it's just not Las Virgenes based. So that's wonderful. Thank you all.
Madam President, members of the board, distinguished cabinet, thank you for having us here tonight to share excitement for the ECE certificate program. As Dr. Gleason stated, my name is Jessica Marshall, and I am currently the assistant principal at Linder Cannon Middle School, but in a previous life, I was actually an elementary school teacher, spending 10 years in TK and kindergarten. And Hallie was our fearless leader as we developed the TK program in Conejo. When this instructor position became available, I jumped at the chance because I have firsthand knowledge of the impact and the benefits of a strong foundation that we can give our youngest learners. I actually was able to teach my TK students as a third grade teacher, and I could see the difference in those students and how well they were prepared for the curriculum, for the strategies, for the standards, because of the foundation that we had given them that was developmentally appropriate and play-based. Our hope is that the design of these courses, they will have relevant experiences, that the candidates will have discussions with their colleagues, they will be given an opportunity to reflect upon their current practice and integrate research-based strategies that will help transform their TK programs into what is now the universal TK that is coming up for all districts in California. This program has special meaning for me as well because I've been able to reunite with some of my former colleagues. My co-instructor is actually my job share partner of 7 years. And so it's been a wonderful opportunity for us to meet together to design this course on literacy and language. We are focusing on creating a print-rich environment on, we'll cover topics such as the debate on teaching the alphabet. Where do you begin? Do you start with A or do you start with other letters? So we're excited to come up with this debate and answers next month as we start our course. We'll be talking about language as well and supporting our dual language learners and what that looks like, and supporting those families and the different cultures that are represented in this classroom. So we are so excited to continue the work that we started 12 years ago and in Conejo, and we look forward to meeting all of our candidates and reflecting on our own growth and perfecting our own practice and talking all things TK. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just love this.
I do too.
Is there a rule about having more than 3 Conejo people in a room at a time? Just checking.
This is a calm board meeting.
Let's not jinx anything.
Don't ixnay on the out. Mark McLaughlin.
Well, I'm not teaching anything, but Madam President, members of the board, thank you for one of the classes at night. My name is Lisa Villanco, and I teach transitional kindergarten at White Oak Elementary. I've taught TK for 10 years now, but I'm also in the 3rd cohort for the ECE program. And I decided to take the early childhood education classes to keep learning about the best way to teach our littlest learners. Even though I am only partially through the program, I have found that every single class has been helpful and impactful to my current students. The classes both reaffirm the good practices I have already implemented and provide guidance in so many different ECE matters. I think that this is because of the flipped classroom experience and then the cohesive reflectiveness that occurs in the small cohorts that the class is made out of. This program really helps guide teachers to know how to best stimulate the children's curiosity and expand their knowledge. The importance of learning through play and exploration for the students is so important to transitional kindergarten. The kids want to grow and learn more and more through all of the fun that they have at school. Their inquiring minds lead them to great strides in cognitive, social, and academic performance. Embedded throughout each class is the importance of social, emotional connections and interpersonal skills, so the children can learn about themselves and their peers. These classes have also been a great opportunity to meet other educators who have the same interests and issues and be able to discuss opportunities with them. These best practices in the ECE classes align with the values of our district for a developmentally informed TK program. I want to thank the district cabinet and board for making early child education a priority for Las Virgenes and providing the support needed. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wow. So you all are, going to leave a lasting legacy behind you. The passion, the joy that you all spoke with what you're doing and the networking that you're able to do, or what I heard was a support group. But I'm so impressed. What wonderful teachers were going to come out of this, the joy that you're imparting to them, and that your love of learning, continuing to learn. I'm just so inspired by all of you. Thank you, Ms. Luthien. And what the bottom line is, what fortunate students, little kids and parents that are going to have these great teachers and these wonderful opportunities to love going to school. So it just brings tears to my eyes. Thank you.
It's even better than we imagined. It's so
Aw.
fun. So like Dr. Gleason says, kids win, right? When we have these teachers who are participating in lifelong learning and bettering their practices, kids win. And so really some next steps is continuing the work. I know that we were just awarded with the $2 million grant. So we anticipate that we would continue this program to serve the needs of our communities. We have tuition for 500 candidates. Who knows what that'll look like, but that could be years and years of ECE, which is amazing. I think some of the things that we want to expand is how can we also increase our training so that support staff can also participate. And then additional partnerships with other districts. Because of the virtual nature of our classes, we can really expand our reach across the state. And this is something that every district will need moving forward, with our UTK teachers being required to have those 24 units. Some additional supports that we're looking at is creating an administrator support network series, because it's really important as we are doing UTK that administrators know what to look for in those kinds of classrooms and giving teachers permission to play. Because what we've noticed even in the last 4 cohorts is that they feel empowered to play with the students and kind of let go of some of that, structure and rigor as it used to be, because our kids aren't going to learn that way, and they're going to learn through play. And it's really important that administrators also share in those values. Additionally, we want to create trainings for instructional assistants. As you know, with the ratios being smaller, with 1 adult to 10 students by next year, we want to make sure that all staff are also trained and align their values with the program as well. And then our next cohorts we're starting to build already for January. So we already have over 20 applicants, and we're only in October. So.
Wow.
Just to share with you, so 450 districts applied for this competitive grant, or 450 universities, county offices, districts across the state. Only 12% of them, less about 70, were awarded. We received the $2 million award, which was the largest award given to a school district in the state of California. And it just shows the faith that the state had in that plan, and just want to acknowledge the board. This is why the board has earned a golden bell. It's for giving us the direction and ability and capacity to find a win-win-win. And this is a win-win-win. Every teacher across our 17 districts that are partnering with us right now is getting a free education. Every district has benefited from not having this impact their general fund, and our general fund is positively impacted as well, as we really showcase our district as a magnet and beacon of real innovative teaching and learning. So Las Virgenes is special. Just want to say that. And thank you, Ms. Louthian, for championing this.
And Dr. Gleason, you're very humble. You and Ms. Luthien, and I don't know if Ms. Chambers, I don't want to miss anyone, but your team of small and mighty team is so creative and innovative, and the board loves innovation and loves to be pushed sometimes. And we have learned to love to be pushed. No, but we love it. And we love, I mean, it's just great for kids. And I'm not even sure the state of California knows what to do with us. So, or wherever you got this grant. But thank you. This is the bottom line. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so
keep
much.
finding new and fun pots of money. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Great stuff.
Can we have them back next month? This was so warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
Thank you.
Just,
Anytime we
very
get tears from a board member is a win.
yeah.
Tears of joy.
Good tears.
Yes. The next information item is revision to Board Policy 4119.11 and Administrative Regulation 4119.11, sexual harassment.
Madam President, members of the board, this came before the board several meetings ago as an action item. It's back for second review. It's Title IX, focusing on sexual harassment. Ms. Falk.
Madam President, members of the board, this is a continuation of updating our board policy and our administrative regulations. The two important components of this are, one, the mandate of district trainings, which yesterday we did an hour training with our district admin on Title IX sexual harassment, discrimination, disability discrimination, and we spent a half an hour on that. So we have met that mandate. The next step is updating all of the board policies related to sexual harassment and bullying as it applies to Title IX, and this is the second in that series being brought to you as an information item tonight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the thoroughness with this, and I realize that we never know when we're going to go back to a board policy or an AR to revise it once it's approved. So I really kind of look at them with a fine-tooth comb, and it was just a phenomenal presentation of going through this. And you went through the CSBA recommendations and looked at what we currently had, and one of them was a total redo, and then the other one you just edited so seamlessly. I don't really have any questions. I just want to say kudos to a job well done.
I agree. Thank you. Appreciate this.
And I'll just say ditto. Thank you very much.
So, and I think that is it. With that, I will adjourn this meeting.